Hello, it's Imran here again from sharemystorage.com. I am the founder, and thank you very much for viewing and thank you for using our service. So, insurance and packaging and transportation, the kind of three ancillary things that you will need to consider when you are using any form of storage. So, let's start off with a simple one, which is transportation. Now, most people use their own vehicles, but that can mean a number of trips back and forth. You may be best suited actually hiring a vehicle for the day. Don't rush storage. You seriously don't rush it, because it will not be rushed. If you're trying to get the contents of a 2 to 3 bedroom house into 100 square feet in the space of 2 hours, it's not going to happen. So book out a whole day, whole day to do this. Do it at leisure. It will reduce the stress as well. And it can get stressful, this stuff. So transportation, consider hiring a vehicle. You may also want to consider a kind of man and van or woman and van service, whereby somebody pops along and actually helps you to lug these items into the van and out of the van and into the storage. Obviously these things increase in cost, but you need to consider the effect on your sanity and also your wallet. So what were the other two things that we were going to talk about? Insurance and packaging. Now, packaging is an interesting one because it does have an effect on the environment. We produce more packaging, we use more packaging, more trees get cut down. It is an issue. So what can we do to make that more efficient? Well, we can use services which provide renewable or reusable boxes from renewable sources, renewable and reusable. So that means services like ecoboxes.co.uk, who we have an agreement with, by the way. They will send you boxes and you make use of them and then you send them back. Consider the alternative. You buy boxes, you use them, you flatten them, and then you store them. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? And it's bad for the environment. And actually, buying packaging can be very, very expensive. It can be expensive, especially if you buy packaging at the self-storage place that you're using. It's just the way it is. You're going to the point at which you actually do need it. It's a revenue source, a legitimate revenue source for self-storage providers. So really you need to consider that in advance. And on to the biggie, which is insurance. Now, insurance is a very interesting area because a lot of the self-storage places around the UK will say that they're quite happy to accept a qualifying home contents policy, but a lot of the time these aren't actually qualifying. So the other rule is that you actually have to take out insurance to use legitimate self-storage. Now this can cost anything from £1 to maybe £1.50 per £1,000 worth of value in your storage facility, which accounts to about 5% of your storage cost over the year. There are other options that you can consider. You can get a qualifying home contents policy, but that'll take a little bit of shopping around. It's a bit clunky doing that. You can get a third-party insurance policy from Insurgo, and they cover many self-storage facilities in the UK at a much lower cost than £1 or £1.50 per £1,000 of value. You do need to consider insurance because really it's not the facility's responsibility to protect your things. And there have been cases, and Google it, where facilities have been damaged or there's been a fire or whatever, and things have been destroyed, and the facilities have had to say, look, this is really nothing to do with us. And that's why you need to consider protecting your items from willful damage or from accidental damage as well. So there you have it. Transportation, careful consideration. Packaging, careful consideration. And obviously insurance as well. If you do have any other suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover, please do contact us at Share My Storage on Twitter.